The Galactic Empire rules with an iron fist as more star systems join the Imperial efforts by the day, while the remaining remnants of the Republic seek refuge and hide as they build their small rebellion. The former protectors of the galaxy, the Jedi, are all but extinct. The remaining few do their best to hide themselves from the treacherous Darth Vader and his team of Inquisitors. Ben Kenobi is alone in a hut on Tatooine. He has nightmares on a nightly basis as he suffers from PTSD after killing his best friend, his brother, Anakin Skywalker. He attempts to reconcile this by watching over Anakin's son, Luke, from a distance, making sure he doesn't fall into the grips of the evil Empire. 2 Inquisitors. Third sister and fourth sister are hunting a Jedi through the galaxy and find themselves on Tatooine, where they believe this Jedi is hiding. They enter the city of Mos Espa, where Kenobi is having a drink at a tavern. The Inquisitors enter the bar, asking questions of where this Jedi is. A patron fed up throws a bottle at the third sister, to which she ignites her lightsaber and lunges towards them. But before she could kill the man, she is force pushed away. Kenobi, sitting and watching, is confused on what is happening. He had cut himself off from the Force years ago so to not attract attention to him or Luke, and sees a hooded figure run outside the door, and down the street, the Inquisitors follow. Kenobi leaves the tavern and makes his way through the town, heading to his hut. He can sense, not through the Force but intuition, that someone is watching him and following. He tries to ignore it and continues walking. Just then, the same hooded figure from the tavern jumps in front of him and knocks Ben down. And without thought, he reaches out to the Force to ease his fall. The hooded man reveals himself to be Cal Kestis, a young Jedi who is looking for others like him to rebuild the Order. He asks Ben for his help, but Ben is reluctant. Ben knows he must stay and protect Luke. The Inquisitors, still searching the city, are told about someone who lives near Mos Eisley. They have heard of a young boy who excels as a pilot. They make their way in that direction. Cal follows Ben to his hut, but Kenobi takes a slight detour to check on the Lars homestead and Luke. It's then he sees the Inquisitors getting closer to the boy than he is comfortable with. Ben knows Cal has followed him, so he calls him out. Kenobi knows the only way to protect the boy is to lead the Inquisitors away. He informs Cal he had cut himself off from the Force for the last number of years, and he won't be of any help. Cal insists he come with him, and they will work together. Ben agrees to go with Cal to lead the Inquisitors away from Tatooine and Luke. Cal and Ben go off-planet, and Cal helps Ben reach back out to the Force. It is a struggle at first, but eventually he is able to tap back into it. They arrive at another planet where a few children are living with Jedi abilities. While here, Ben and Cal go face-to-face with the Inquisitors who followed them. After defeating the fourth sister, Darth Vader arrives, and it is revealed to Ben that Anakin is Darth Vader. Ben, shaken by this, loses focus and is manhandled by Vader, who burns him in a fire. Cal interferes and rescues Ben. He is put in a makeshift medical Bacta tank on the ship as he begins having more nightmares of Anakin and Vader. Darth Vader sends the third sister, Reva, after the fleeing Jedi and requests she let him know when they are found. Cal takes Ben to a safe house on Alderaan, where Bail Organa and Cal discuss the latest events. Ben, who wakes up, realizes where he is and sees a young Leia with her father, Bail. Angry that he was brought here, he tells Cal they must leave immediately. Bail informs them there is a hidden rebel base on Jabim, and that it would be safe to take the children there as they regroup. While on their way to the rebel base, Ben tells Cal how that he cut himself off from the Force due to him failing his Padawan, that he is now realizing it was not the right move and hopes that he can rectify his failures. Once on Jabim, Ben learns about the young, struggling rebel alliance, but vows to not get involved with a political war. Reva arrives and verifies the Jedi are there. She contacts Vader, which he tells her to not let them leave until he gets there. Reva sneaks into the base and begins sabotaging the rebels' plans. Cal feels the disturbance in the Force when Reva kills one of the leaders in the base. He confronts her and a battle ensues. Kenobi, who was meditating in hopes to strengthen his connection to the Force and seeking guidance from his old master, Qui-Gon, is notified of the battle and runs to help Cal. Cal is protecting the young Jedi hopefuls, but is distracted when they notice an Imperial Armada exit hyperspace above the planet. A full evacuation begins. Ben interferes with the fight and tells Cal to take the children and get away. He will stay behind and keep the Inquisitor at bay. Cal reluctantly listens and promises Ben that he will come back for him. Darth Vader's shuttle arrives planetside. He makes his way to the hangar bay where Kenobi and Reva are fighting. Ben senses Vader's presence. He knocks out Reva and decides to retreat to a small fighter and takes off. Vader, using the Force, begins to pull the fighter down. Blam! Vader is hit with a blaster shot by Cal hanging out of his shuttle. Kenobi gets away, but Vader shifts his focus to Cal's ship and brings it down using the Force. Reva awakens, and both her and Darth Vader round up the children and Cal. Reva wants to kill them, but Vader doesn't allow her. He will use them as bait to bring Kenobi back to him. Once out of the planet's atmosphere, Kenobi tries to communicate with Cal, but Reva responds, telling him if he wants to see Cal alive, he will need to turn himself over to Vader. Without hesitation, Ben agrees to meet them planetside. When he arrives on the planet, he is greeted by Darth Vader and Reva. Cal is on his knees, handcuffed. He screams out, telling Kenobi that there are children still there. Ben informs them he will turn himself over, but they must release Cal and the children. Without debate, Vader tells Reva to release Cal, and he races away to save the children and escape. Reva lunges towards Kenobi, but he is more attuned with the Force than before. He easily dodges her attacks and even toys with her a bit. Vader, watching this, is annoyed and Force chokes Reva. She falls to the ground unconscious. This is his fight against Kenobi. The two of them battle. Vader first getting the upper hand, and Kenobi struggling to stay focused. Ben sees Cal escape on a ship and allows himself to be taken over by the Force. The fight gets more intense. Ben gets some blows on Vader, cutting his mask in half. Ben sees the eye of his old friend. He's struggling to breathe, but won't back down. The battle continues. Vader, filled with rage and anger, is reckless and losing focus. Kenobi senses this and knocks Vader down. "I know there is still good in you, Anakin," says Kenobi. Vader, filling with more anger, uses the Force to pull the surrounding rocks and buildings down. Ben is nearly crushed, but uses the Force to create a pseudo-force field around him. Vader stands and with a cocky tone says, "This is the end for you, my master." Ben focuses all his energy as he lifts the rubble off of himself. Ben, exhausted, sees Vader standing there and reignites his lightsaber. Vader ignites his. Ben pleads with Vader, "I know Anakin is still in there." To which Vader replies, "I killed Anakin a long time ago, and now I will remove any memory of him and his weakness by destroying you." Vader lunges towards Ben and their sabers clash. Kenobi screams to not do this. Vader is getting the upper hand as his strength overpowers Ben. Kenobi, falling to one knee, closes his eyes, allowing the Force to flow through him. He begins to get strength as he stands and pushes Vader down to one knee. About 100 yards away, Reva awakens and rushes to Vader's shuttle. She lifts off and makes her way to the battle. She interferes by shooting the area around Kenobi and Vader, and the ground breaks underneath them. They both fall. Reva reaches out with the Force and grabs Vader. She struggles but pulls him to the ship. Wheezing and weak, Vader stands as tall as he can in the ship. Reva, proud of herself, turns to pilot the shuttle. A lightsaber ignites. Vader stabs Reva in the back, telling her she had interfered for the last time. She falls to the ground dead. Vader reaches out but cannot sense Kenobi. Believing he is gone, he takes off and heads back to the Imperial Armada. Ben awakens. He is injured but not badly. He makes his way out of the rubble and looks to the sky as the Imperial Armada enter hyperspace, leaving the planet behind. He can't sense Vader, but knows he wasn't defeated that easily. Ben hears Cal's voice on comms. "You still alive, Master?" Cal says. His shuttle appears and lands near Kenobi as he makes his way onto the ship. Cal asks Ben where he wants to go. Ben replies, "Home." They make their way back to Tatooine, and Ben thanks Cal for everything. A few days have passed, and we see Kenobi watching over Luke from a distance. Luke is running around pretending to be a pilot. We hear the voice of Qui-Gon Jinn, who tells Ben that he has done well, and he must shift his focus to the future and their new hope.